Hello, dear DSC candidates. Welcome back to my Grammar for Success channel. I'm Coresh Babu, a retired lecturer in English from Hyderabad. In today's video, I'm going to narrate the story of Twelfth Night written by William Shakespeare. I therefore request all of you to watch this video till the end without skipping it in the middle. And I also request all of you to consider subscribing to my channel and also sharing this video with all your friends who are also going to take the DSC examination along with you very shortly. Thank you so much. Now let's get into the video. Twelfth Night, William Shakespeare. Okay, before I take up the story of Twelfth Night, I would like to talk to you a few very important introductory points about William Shakespeare. Okay, now pay attention. Introduction to William Shakespeare. Okay, William Shakespeare, who was born in 1564 and died in 1616, was a renowned English playwright, poet, and actor. You know very well, this William Shakespeare was a renowned means very celebrated or very popular. What? English playwright. Playwright means what? One who writes the plays is called a playwright. Plays means dramas. One who writes plays is called a playwright, and he was a renowned playwright. And in his lifetime, he wrote a large number of plays, and therefore he was called a renowned English playwright. First point. He also wrote in his lifetime a large number of poems, and therefore he was also called a renowned English poet. And he also acted in so many dramas, and therefore he was also called a renowned English actor. In this way, he was a renowned English playwright, poet, and actor. The first point is clear. You go to the second point. He was widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language. Let me say, in the English literature itself, he was regarded. Regarded means he was considered the greatest writer in the English language or in the English literature, the preeminent dramatist of the world. Preeminent means outstanding or supreme. He was the preeminent dramatist, means he was the most outstanding dramatist or supreme dramatist of the world. Okay, you go to the next point. He was often referred to as the bird of Avon, and you know very well, he was lovingly and affectionately called by the name the bird of Avon because he was born in Stratford upon Avon. This is the place where this William Shakespeare was born in England to John Shakespeare. His father was John Shakespeare, and he was a glove maker. Gloves, you know very well, gloves. Okay, and Mary Arden. His mother was Mary Arden. So his father was John Shakespeare. His mother was Mary Arden. His father was a glove maker. All these details now you have come to know from this very important point. And you go to the next very important point about this great dramatist. That is, at 18, that means at the age of 18, he married Anne Hathaway, with whom he had three children, Susanna and twins Hamnet and Judith. So here this Shakespeare was married to Anne Hathaway, and with whom he had three children, and the names of those three children are also given here. First one is Susanna, and next he was blessed with the twins, and their names are like this, Hamnet and Judith. Okay, this is about his life. Let's now move on to learn other important things about William Shakespeare. By the late 1580s or early 1590s, Shakespeare moved to London. Okay, late 1580s or early 1590s. So during this period, okay, this side or that side, during that period approximately, Shakespeare moved to London, where he became involved in the theatrical world. Theatrical world means pertaining to the theater, or another meaning is also there, pertaining to the performance of the plays or dramas. Dramala nirvahanaku sambandhinchina, that is the theatrical world. He was involved in the theatrical world as an actor and playwright. So in that theatrical world, he was involved both as an actor and as a playwright. Okay, so here he acted in some of the dramas and he also wrote some of the dramas. So in this way, writing the dramas and acting in the dramas, he lived in London during this period. Okay, and the next point, Shakespeare's works include 39 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 long narratives. So this information is very important for you for your future examinations point of view. And here these are the details about his literary works, and his plays are divided into 3 main genres, and all his 39 plays have been divided into 3 groups called 3 literary genres. Genres means kinds or varieties. Okay, let us look at the first genre of the plays. Tragedies are there. What are these tragedies? These tragedies explore themes of human suffering, and in these tragedies you can come across human suffering and human fate. Okay, you know very well, and the darker sides of the human nature. Darker sides means the wicked sides of human nature. Okay, and here you pay attention. Examples include Hamlet, Macbeth, and Othello, and etc. Other tragedies are also there. These are the most prominent tragedies of William Shakespeare, and here these 3 are the most important tragedies which Shakespeare wrote in his lifetime. Now you move on to other details about his literary works. Comedies are there. Next literary genre to which his plays belong to is what? Comedies. Okay, these focus on themes of love. In comedies you can come across the theme of love, mistaken identity. Identity means personality. Mistaken means mistaking one for the other. That is called mistaken. Okay, confused with another. Okay, you people get confused of somebody with another person, so that is there. That's called mistaken identity. And humorous situations. Okay, you can find humorous situations, you can find humorous episodes and incidents and all that, often ending in marriage. At the end of this comedy you can see the marriage of the hero and heroine and all that, and also reconciliation. Reconciliation means compromise. So all such things you can find in comedies. For example, here are given some examples. Examples include A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's a beautiful comedy. 12th Night, our present drama, is also a beautiful comedy. And Much Ado About Nothing, that is also a beautiful comedy of Shakespeare. Okay, this is the second genre of his literary works. And next you go to the third literary genre to which some of his plays belong to, is histories. Okay, these dramatize the lives of English kings, and in these histories, in these dramas, you can find the lives of English kings and explore themes of power and how they you can say ruled the country, and how they enjoyed that power, how they abused their power, and all such things you can find. Legitimacy, who is the legal heir to that kingdom, and who wanted to dethrone that king, and who wanted to ascend to the throne. So all such things, legitimacy problems, ambition, and you know very well, ambition was also there. They want to become the king of that, somebody wants to become the king of that England, that area, that kingdom, and all such things. So these were the theme of power, the theme of legitimacy, the theme of ambition. These themes were the main themes of these histories. And for example, Henry V, Richard III. Okay, these are the 2 examples. And here Shakespeare's influence extends beyond literature. And not only he was well versed in literature, he was also well versed in art, music, film, and popular culture. That means, he was good not only at literature but also at art, music, film, and popular culture. That means, in that way you can call him a multi-talented person, a multi-gifted person, a multifaceted personality, because he was well versed not only in literature but also in art, music, film, and popular culture. So that is one of the greatest points about this William Shakespeare. Now let's move on to learn a few more things about William Shakespeare. And this is yet another important point about William Shakespeare. His mastery of the English language enriched vocabulary and expressive possibilities, introducing words and phrases still in use today, such as break the ice and wild goose chase. So here, this William Shakespeare mastered the English language. Okay, that is really great. Of course, English is the mother tongue of all the Englanders, no doubt about that. But here, he mastered the English language. Of course, in Telugu also, Telugu is our mother tongue. But have we mastered that language? No. So only a few poets, writers could master that language, and therefore they could write poems, they could write essays, and so many literary works. So because they mastered the Telugu language. Okay, here also in the same way, this William Shakespeare mastered the English language, and therefore he could create new vocabulary. And he could create new vocabulary and new words and new phrases that are still in use today. His words, his newly created words, his newly coined words and phrases are in use even today. And for example, break the ice is there. To break the ice means to make the beginning or to make the new beginning. That is one meaning. Break the ice means to clear the first hurdles or first difficulties in starting a conversation. ఒక సంభాషణ మొదలు పెట్టేటప్పుడు ఉన్నటువంటి మొదటి ఆ హర్డిల్స్ ను క్లియర్ చేసుకోవడానికి, దట్స్ కాల్డ్ బ్రేక్ ద ఐస్. ఇట్స్ a beautiful phrase. Okay, and here wild goose chase is there. Wild goose chase means a futile or a fruitless search or pursuit. Okay, futile means nisprayojanamainatvanti prayasa. So here this goose is there, wild goose, adavi batundi. Can you catch that wild goose? No, you cannot catch it. Even if you run after this wild goose, you cannot catch it. And in the same way, even if you try for something, if you cannot achieve it, if you cannot get it, then people call it a wild goose chase. Certain things are there in our human life. The attempts to achieve them are really wild goose chases only. కొన్ని సాధించడానికి మనం చేసే ప్రయత్నాలన్నీ కూడా ఇలా వైల్డ్ గూస్ చేజ్ లాగా ఉండిపోతాయి. వైల్డ్ గూస్ చేజ్ అంటే నిష్ప్రయోజనమైనటువంటి, నిష్ఫలితమైనటువంటి ప్రయాస, ప్రయత్నము. దట్ ఈస్ ద తెలుగు మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ దట్. సో హియర్ ఇన్ దిస్ వే హీ హ్యాస్ క్రియేటెడ్, హీ హ్యాస్ కాయిన్డ్ న్యూ వర్డ్స్ అండ్ న్యూ ఫ్రేజెస్ like this because he has mastered the English language. Okay, that is the greatness of this William Shakespeare. And now you move on to the next important point. Shakespeare's works delve into universal themes like love, power, ambition, betrayal, and the human condition. So here Shakespeare's literary works delve into means deal with. They deal with what? The universal themes. What are the universal themes? Love is a universal theme. And power, political power is a universal theme. Ambition means having over desire for something is called ambition. And betrayal means backstabbing, the violation of somebody's trust. Okay, the violation of somebody's faith or trust, that is in other words you can call it disloyalty, betrayal. And the human condition. Okay, sometimes the human beings may be in poor condition or rich condition or wealthy condition or deplorable condition. So the human conditions are also his themes. Okay, making them relevant across generations. So about all these things he wrote dramas, making them relevant across the generations. Okay, and here you pay attention. Shakespeare died on April 23rd, 1616. Okay, and he was buried in the Holy Trinity Church in Stratford upon Avon. So in the churchyard of this Holy Trinity Church that is located in Stratford upon Avon, that is his native place. Okay, there his body was buried, and his epitaph means on the tomb, some writing will be there, some inscription will be there. So that is called epitaph, and which he supposedly wrote himself. This epitaph that is to be placed on his tomb had been written by himself only, and it warns against disturbing his grave. And here, very funnily, he writes on that epitaph saying that if anybody disturbs his grave, that will be viewed as a serious matter, something like that. ఎవరైనా నా సమాధిని కదిలించదూచినట్టయితే అది చాలా సీరియస్ మ్యాటర్గా అవుతుంది అని చెప్పి సంథింగ్ లైక్ దట్ ఫనీలీ he had written in his own epitaph. So this is all about William Shakespeare. And one more important point here is there: William Shakespeare remains a cornerstone of world literature. In the entire world literature, he becomes a cornerstone, the main stone, the foundation stone of world literature. And with his works continually studied, you know very well, even today at graduation level, at post graduation level, students will study his works. And his works are also being performed all over the world, and they are adopted worldwide. That means they have been translated into other languages and so on. So in this way, his literary works are being studied now, his works are being performed now, his works are being adopted or translated worldwide into all other languages. And in that way, he remains a cornerstone of this world literature. So in this way, we can learn these few important things about the life of this William Shakespeare, the greatest dramatist of this world. Now let's move on to learn a few more things about the story itself, that is 12th night. What is this 12th night and all that? Let us learn about the story itself. Okay, right. Introduction to the drama 12th night. Okay, let us learn a few important introductory points about this drama 12th night. Okay, 12th Night, one of William Shakespeare's most beloved comedies, was likely written in 1601, 1602. So during this period, this 12th Night, one of William Shakespeare's most beloved comedies. You know very well, this 12th Night is a beautiful comedy. It's a delightful comedy. It was written during 1601 and 1602. Okay, here let me tell you something about this 12th Night. What is this 12th night? Do you have any idea about this 12th night, about the title? So about this title 12th night, I would like to tell you a few important things. This 12th night means what? The 12th day, the 12th day night after Christmas. Okay, 12th day night, 12th day night after Christmas is called 12th night. That means, after Christmas, what is that? 12 days. Okay, 12 days means that is, January 6th. Okay, the Jews celebrate this January 6th as what? Epiphany, at the festival Epiphany. Okay, as the festival Epiphany. And this in this festival, they commemorate what? The manifestation of Jesus Christ to the Gentiles as represented by the Magi. Okay, and that means, Jesus Christ was said to have been born on 25th December. Okay, after 12 days means that becomes January 6th. Okay, and here after the birth of Jesus Christ, on the 6th January, he was manifested to the Gentiles. That means he was shown, he was introduced to the Gentiles on the 6th January. The Gentiles means non-Christians, okay, non-Jews. So in this way, for the first time, he was introduced to the Gentiles. He was introduced to the non-Christians. And that's why, this January 6th is being celebrated as Epiphany all over the world even today. And they remember the manifestation of Jesus Christ to the Gentiles. And you know very well, on this day, what happened? The three wise men wanted to call on Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ was introduced to them on January 6th. Okay, so this 12th day night, that is therefore called 12th day night. There is the last day that marks the end of this Christmas. So on that day, they had some celebrations. In that celebrations, this 12th night, this drama was performed. ఆ రోజు రాత్రి ఈ 12th నైట్ అనే ఈ డ్రామాను పెర్ఫామ్ చేయడం జరిగింది. కాబట్టి ద టైటిల్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ డ్రామా ఈజ్ 12th నైట్. యు నో దట్ వెరీ వెల్. ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్ ఐ నీడ్ నాట్ టెల్ యూ, ఆల్రెడీ యు నో ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్. సో హియర్ 12th night means the 12th day night after Christmas, that is Epiphany, or that is January 6th, that you have to understand. And now let's now move on to learn about other things. Okay. It was performed as part of the celebrations for the 12th night holiday. So 12th day night holiday, so for that, it was performed as part of the celebrations. This drama was performed as part of the celebrations for the 12th day night holiday. Okay, marks the end of Christmas season. After 12 days of Christmas, the Christmas season will come to an end with January 6th. On that night, it was performed as part of the celebrations. Okay, and you move on to the next point. This the play's subtitle actually was What You Will. The 12th night's subtitle is actually What You Will. Something like that. Okay, suggests its light-hearted, playful nature, and this drama is a light-hearted. Light-hearted means happy or joyful, playful nature. So light-hearted nature, playful nature, joyful and playful nature of this drama, encouraging audiences to enjoy the whimsical. Whimsical means what? Frequently changing and unpredictable. You cannot predict that. Okay, non-predictable, that you cannot predict, that you cannot foresee. Okay, that is called unpredictable events that unfold. So here the audiences are allowed to enjoy the ever-changing, frequently changing, and here unpredictable, not able to be guessed, not able to be predicted, okay, not able to be foreseen events that unfold. All such incidents will be unfolding. You cannot expect that so and so thing will happen, but that will happen. So in this way, unpredictable incidents will be happening, and whimsical things will be happening, and these in this drama the audiences are allowed to enjoy all such whimsical events, unpredictable events that unfold while watching that drama. So it's a very fantastic humorous or what is a delightful comedy. Okay, and you go to the next point. The drama is set in the fictional land of Illyria. So this Illyria is what? A fictional land, and features what? Convoluted plot, a intricate plot, a complicated plot. And in this drama you can find some convoluted. Convoluted means what? An intricate, a complex plot. Okay, ఒక క్లిష్టమైనటువంటి ప్లాట్ ఉంటుంది ఇన్వాల్వింగ్ షిప్రెక్స్. You can find shipwrecks. Shipwreck means what? The destruction of a ship. While the ship is going in the sea, what happens? It will dash against some iceberg, or it will dash against some big rock and all that. So then what happens? It is called shipwreck. The destruction of a ship, that's called a shipwreck. So you can find the shipwrecks. Mistaken identities. Identity means personalities. Mistaken means you take one for the other. That is called mistaken. You mistake X for Y, and you mistake Y for X. ఒకరికి బదులుగా ఇంకొకరి గురించి ఇంకొకరిగా భావించడం, ఈయన చూసి ఇంకొకటి అనుకోవడం, అట్లా లైక్ దట్. సో మిస్టేకన్ ఐడెంటిటీస్ అండ్ డిస్గైజెస్. ఓకే, చేంజింగ్ ద అపియరెన్సెస్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ డిస్గైజెస్, మారు వేషాలు, సంథింగ్ లైక్ దట్. రొమాంటిక్ ఎంటాంగిల్మెంట్స్. రొమాంటిక్ మీన్స్ ఎగ్జైటింగ్, entanglements means complications. Okay, and entanglements means intricacies, chikkulu, samasyalu. Okay, in this way, romantic entanglements, mistaken identities, disguises, shipwrecks, with all these things, this plot is convoluted. It becomes very complex. So this drama, the 12th night, deals with some this kind of intricate plot or complex plot. Okay, and this story takes place in the fictional island. It's not the real island. It's an imaginary, just like Malgudi. It's an imaginary land, that is Illyria. You know that very well. Now you move on to learn other important things about this 12th night. And next point about this drama 12th night is, at its heart is Viola. Viola is the heroine of this drama, right? A resourceful young woman who disguises herself as a man, Cesario. So she is a resourceful young woman. Resourceful means very intelligent young woman, a wise young woman who disguises herself as a man, who changes her appearance as a man, called Cesario. She disguises herself as a man called Cesario after being shipwrecked. After being shipwrecked means after she was trapped in the destruction of a ship. That's called shipwreck. Okay, and separated from her twin brother Sebastian. And she was separated from her twin brother. Twin means one of the two persons resembling each other. ఒకేలాగా ఉన్నటువంటి ఇద్దరు. అండ్ హియర్ దిస్ ఈస్ వయోలా sister and this is Sebastian. So these two are twins. Okay, brother and sister. Okay, these are twins, and this is Viola. Okay, and her brother is Sebastian. And here she was separated from her twin brother Sebastian in that shipwreck. ఆ షిప్రెక్ లో ఆమె తన బ్రదర్ ను కోల్పోయింది. మరి చనిపోయింది అనుకుంటుంది, మునిగిపోయిందేమో అనుకుంటుంది, ఏమనుకుంటుందో మరి. వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్ అబౌట్ ది సెబాస్టియన్ in the story we are going to see in the story itself, right? And now you move on to the next point. Viola's disguise leads to a series of humorous misunderstandings. And Viola's disguise, okay, change of appearance, what happens, leads to series of humorous, very delightful misunderstandings. Okay, misunderstandings are there, but they are very humorous, light-hearted, and they are what, they are very delightful, particularly when she falls in love with Duke Orsino. And this Viola, who is disguised herself as a young man called Cesario, falls in love with Duke Orsino. Duke means here a prince, okay, a noble man or a gentleman. Duke Orsino. She falls in love with Duke Orsino, who sends her to court to Lady Olivia on his behalf. But this Orsino, taking this Viola as really a young man, sends her to court Lady Olivia on his behalf. He sends this Viola to profess his love to this Lady Olivia as a mediator, as a middleman. ఇతను మగవాడే అనుకుంటూ, ఒక యువకుడే అనుకుంటూ తన తరఫున మరి ప్రేమ సందేశాన్ని లేడీ ఓలివియాకి పంపిస్తుంటాడు. అక్కడ ఇంకొక ఉంటారు, లేడీ ఓలివియా. షీ ఈజ్ ఎ ప్రిన్సెస్. వీడి ప్రిన్స్, ఆమె ప్రిన్సెస్. వీడికి ఈమె మీద మనసు ఉంటుంది, కానీ ఈమెకు వీడి మీద మనసు ఉంటుంది. అండ్ ఈమెకు వీడి మీద మనసు ఉంటుంది. బికాస్ వయోలా ఈజ్ ఏ యంగ్ మ్యాన్, బట్ హీ ఈజ్ ఎ యంగ్ ఉమన్. దిస్ వయోలా ఈజ్ ఎ యంగ్ ఉమన్, you know very well, but she disguised herself as a young man called Cesario. కాబట్టి ఓలివియా అనుకుంటూ సిజారియో యంగ్ మ్యాన్ మంచోడు అనుకోండి, వాని మీద ప్రేమలో పడుతుంది. ఆమెనేమో వీని ప్రేమలో పడుతుంది, వీడేమో ఈమె ప్రేమలో. దిస్ లవ్ ట్రయాంగిల్. Love triangle. Okay, it's all right. I'll deal with this very clearly and elaborately when I start teaching you the story. Until then, you please wait for. You go to the next point. Meanwhile, Olivia becomes infatuated with Cesario. But this Olivia falls in love with Cesario, who is actually Viola, you know very well, setting the stage for a comedic exploration of love and identity. And this creates a comedic atmosphere, and all the audiences would be watching that drama very enthusiastically, very eagerly, and all that. Not only in those days, even today also, people started watching that drama very eagerly. What happens next? How this is going to be, how this love triangle is going to be solved. So like that, you know, the readers now and the audiences then became very anxious and curious about that. Okay, now you move on to learn a few more things about this drama of 12th Night. The play delves into timeless themes. Delves into means deals with timeless themes, okay? Permanent themes or never fading themes, okay? Everlasting themes, okay? What are those everlasting themes? Means love is always a wonderful theme. It's an everlasting theme of all dramas, novels, and all that. All movies also nowadays. So without the theme of love, there is no movie, I think, in the cine field. Okay, right. Love in its many forms. You can find love in many forms. Unrequited love. Unrequited love means unreciprocated love, unresponded love, or love not returned in kind. That is called love not returned in kind. ప్రేమిస్తే మళ్ళీ తిరిగి ప్రేమించాలి, కానీ ప్రేమించబడకపోతే that's called unrequited love. You love her, but she doesn't love you. That's called unrequited love. అంటే ప్రేమకు స్పందించబడని, అంటే స్పందించబడని ప్రేమ. నువ్వు ప్రేమించావు, దానికి ఆమె స్పందించడం లేదు. దట్స్ వై ఇట్స్ కాల్డ్ నాట్ రెసిప్రోకేటెడ్ లవ్. లెట్ మీ గివ్ యూ లైక్ దిస్, నాట్ రెసిప్రోకేటెడ్. తిరిగి తిరిగి ఎస్ అని చెప్పని ప్రేమ. దట్స్ కాల్డ్ నాట్ రెసిప్రోకేటెడ్ లవ్. ఓకే, దట్స్ వన్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ లవ్. రొమాంటిక్ లవ్, ఎగ్జైటింగ్ లవ్. ఓకే, సెల్ఫ్ లవ్, యు లవ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. Okay, before you love others, I used to tell my students always this thing only: before you love others, you start loving yourself. If you have love for yourself, you work very hard. Okay, you want to become something great in the society. You want to occupy a dignified position in the society. You want to be respected by all the people living around you. So when you love yourself, such things will happen. But if you don't love yourself, if you want to love only others, there's a meaningless thing. ఫస్ట్ నిన్ను నువ్వు ప్రేమించుకోవయ్యా. నిన్ను నువ్వు ప్రేమించుకుంటే కదా నేను ఇలా గొప్పవాడిని కావాలి, ఇలా ఒక మంచి టీచర్ని కావాలి, మంచి ఆఫీసర్ని కావాలి. అలా నిన్ను నువ్వు ప్రేమించుకున్నప్పుడు, నీ మీద నీకు మంచి కోరికలు ఉన్నప్పుడు అలా అవ్వడానికి నీకు నువ్వు ప్రేమించుకున్న తర్వాత ఇతరులను ప్రేమించడం మొదలుపెట్టు. కానీ మందిని ప్రేమిస్తా అంటే ఏం ప్రయోజనము? వాడు నిన్ను ప్రేమించొద్దా? కాబట్టి ఫస్ట్ యు లవ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. దిస్ ఈస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో సెల్ఫ్ లవ్ ఈజ్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. అండ్ ద folly of love or all folly of love means some mistaken love is also there. So you love somebody, but it's by mistake you love that person. Okay, that is the folly of love are all explored in this drama. So love in its many forms. This is the universal theme or timeless theme. Okay, and another theme is the identity and disguise. So this is also a universal theme on or an everlasting theme. Viola's cross dressing. Cross dressing means wearing the dress of the opposite sex. Cross dressing. Viola is a woman, but she is wearing the dress of a young boy, young man. So that's called cross dressing. ఒక స్త్రీ అయి ఉండి మగ డ్రెస్ వేసుకోవడం. అఫ్ కోర్స్ ఈ రోజుల్లో అందరూ మగవాళ్ళు ఆడవాళ్ళు అసలు గుర్తుపట్టలేకుండా అందరూ ఆడవాళ్ళు మగ డ్రెస్ వేసుకుంటున్నారు, మగవాళ్ళు ఆడ డ్రెస్ వేసుకుంటలేరు. దట్స్ ఎ లక్కీ థింగ్. బట్ హియర్ వయోలాస్ క్రాస్ డ్రెస్సింగ్ అండ్ ద కన్ఫ్యూజన్ బిట్వీన్ హర్ అండ్ హర్ ట్విన్ బ్రదర్ హైలైట్ ఇష్యూస్ ఆఫ్ ఐడెంటిటీ అండ్ పర్సెప్షన్. So here, what is that? Viola's cross-dressing, what happens now? That creates some kind of confusion between her and her twin brother. Because they are twins. This Viola and Viola's brother Sebastian, both are twins. And they look alike. They resemble each other. So she is dressed as a man, okay? And he is really a man. Viola is dressed as a man, Cesario. Sebastian is a man himself. Okay. ఇద్దరు చూసరికి చాలా కన్ఫ్యూజన్ అయ్యింది. ఇద్దరు మగవాళ్ళు ఎక్కడిలాగా ఉన్నారు ఏమిట్రా? So the characters in that drama started getting confused. అరే Cesario, వీడు కూడా Cesario. So there's some kind of like that. But here this is Viola disguised as a man called Cesario, and this Sebastian is not disguised. He is a man himself, right? And like this, and all such things, identity and disguise. These are also the main themes of they are the universal themes or timeless themes of Shakespeare dramas. Okay, and last one, foolishness and festivity. And you can find some kind of foolishness also, very hilarious foolishness, delightful foolishness, humorous foolishness you can find in the dramas of Shakespeare. You can also find the festivity. Festivity means what? Hilarity or merrymaking, anandotsahalu avi kanipista. The subplot involving Malvolio is a character in this drama, 12th Night. Sir Toby Belch, okay. Others underscores the play's festive tone and critique of pretension. So this subplot is there. Subplot involving Malvolio, Sir Toby Belch and others underscores what? Underscores means emphasizes the play's festive tone. And you can find the whole drama becomes very joyful and entertaining and appealing and delightful to the audiences. Not only to the audiences, to the readers also. So because of this subplot, the whole drama becomes very festive. Festive means very delightful, very joyful. And critique of pretension. And in this drama, you can find the critique. Critique means criticism of pretension. Pretension means what? Pretense. Pretense means kapata natana. Action means that is the action you know very well. In the hero, heroine or the characters will act in the dramas, movies and all that. That's called action. ఒక పాత్రను పోషించడానికి యాక్షన్. దట్స్ ఓకే. ప్రిటెన్స్ మీన్స్ కపట నటన, దొంగ నటన. పిల్లలు ఏం చేస్తుంటారు? కడుపు నొప్పి అమ్మా ఐఎమ్ సఫరింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ స్టమక్. దట్ ఈస్ ప్రిటెన్స్, కపట నటన. ప్రిటెన్స్ అంటే అర్థమైంది కదా. ప్రిటెన్స్ మీన్స్ కపట నటన. ఫాల్స్ యాక్షన్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ప్రిటెన్స్. మంచోడు కాదు కానీ మంచోడిలాగా నటించడం, ప్రిటెన్స్. చెడ్డోడు కానీ వాడు ఏంటంటే మంచోడిలాగా నటిస్తున్నాడు, ఇట్స్ ప్రిటెన్స్. సో ప్రిటెన్స్, in other words, pretension is also there. Pretension, pretense, both are the same. So all these things create some kind of joyful mood in this drama. So these are the main themes of this drama, 12th Night. And now you move on to other things. The title 12th Night refers to the festive spirit of the 12th night holiday. So this 12th night, I have already told you about the flashback or background story of this 12th night. Okay, the 12th day night after Christmas is called 12th night. Okay, and on that day, on the last day of Christmas season, there will be some celebrations, and in this celebrations this drama was enacted, you know very well. It was performed. Okay, and refers to the festive spirit. This 12th night indicates the festive spirit of the 12th night holiday, a time of revelry. Revelry means what? Merrymaking, anandotsahalu. That was the last day of this Christmas season, and all the Jews, all the Christians will enjoy themselves on that particular night. And it's a time of revelry. Revelry means merrymaking, inversion of social norms, and they just what is that, don't care for social norms and all that on that day, and merrymaking. Okay, revelry means delight, hilarity or joy. Okay, enjoyment. Okay, you can say time of enjoyment, inversion of social norms, merrymaking, all such things. So all such things will take place on that 12th night after Christmas, right? And here this aligns with the play's themes of disguise, role reversals, and the subversion of expectations. So this now in this play you can find the disguise, the themes of disguise, role reversal. Role reversals means what? You can say Viola, being a young woman, dressed herself as a young boy. So the role has been reversed there. Okay, and subversion of expectations. So this some person wants to marry some person, but his expectation is subverted. Okay, that's called subversion of expectation. You know, where Orsino wants to marry Olivia, but that is not done. That expectation was filed, that expectation was subverted. Okay, and in that way you can find subversion of expectations, disguise, and role reversals, all these things as themes of this drama. Okay, and Shakespeare uses witty dialogue. Okay, witty dialogue in this drama. Shakespeare makes use of witty. Witty means clever dialogues. All dialogues are very clever, very interesting, very hilarious. Okay, very entertaining and all that. Puns means the humorous use of a word which has two meanings. For example, why don't the skeletons fight with each other? Because they do not have the guts. They do not have the guts. Here the pun is played on the word guts. Guts has got one literal meaning. Its literal meaning is the inner essential parts of the body are called guts. శరీరం లోపల ఉన్నటువంటి, బాడీ లోపల ఉన్నటువంటి పార్ట్స్ అన్నిటి, లివర్, లంగ్స్, హార్ట్, బవెల్స్, ఇంటెస్టైన్స్, ఆల్ సచ్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ గట్స్. దట్స్ వన్ మీనింగ్. గట్స్, the gut center. And the guts means what? Another meaning is also, figurative meaning is that guts means courage. One can the guts na nidrinchadaniki, guts. So here this is called a pun. Matala garadi. Why don't the skeletons fight with each other? Our skeletons enduko okorto okar fight cheskovante. What is the answer? They don't have the guts. వాటికి గట్స్ లేవంటే, లోపల పార్ట్స్ లేవు అని ఒక అర్థం వస్తే, వాటికి అంత ధైర్యం లేదు అని ఇంకొక అర్థం. సో లైక్ దట్, this guts is used in two meanings. This guts has two meanings, and therefore this is called a pun. ఇలా ఒకే మాటకున్న రెండు అర్థాలను విభిన్న అర్థాలలో అలా వాడుతున్నట్టయితే, దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ పన్. ఇట్స్ ఎ బ్యూటిఫుల్ లిటరీ డివైస్, యు నో వెరీ వెల్. అండ్ డ్రామాటిక్ ఐరనీ. Dramatic irony is also there. Okay, and irony you know very well. Okay, you want to do something, but something other will happen there. That's called dramatic irony. Create a comedic atmosphere. All such things will create a hilarious atmosphere, a delightful atmosphere, a humorous atmosphere in this drama, 12th Night. Okay, the last point here is the characters' interactions, especially the misunderstandings born of mistaken identities, drive much of the humor. So here in these the characters' interactions in this drama, the characters interact with each other. Okay, Orsino talks to Olivia. Olivia talks to Viola. Viola talks to Sebastian. So these are all called interactions, conversations. So through the characters interactions was first point, and the misunderstandings born of mistaken identities, this is the second, because of the misunderstandings born of mistaken identities. Okay, drive from these two things, a lot of humor is generated in this drama. ఈ రెంటి వల్ల క్యారెక్టర్స్ యొక్క ఇంటరాక్షన్స్ వల్ల, పొరబడినటువంటి ఆ వ్యక్తిత్వాల యొక్క అపార్థాల వల్ల, ఈ రెండిటి వల్ల ఈ డ్రామాలో ఎంతో హ్యూమర్ అనేది జనరేట్ అవుతుంది. అందుకే ది ఆడియన్సెస్ కుడ్ వాచ్ ఇట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద బిగినింగ్ టిల్ ద ఎండ్ వితౌట్ లీవింగ్ ద ప్లేస్, అండ్ ద రీడర్స్ ఆల్సో కుడ్ రీడ్ ద ఎంటైర్ డ్రామా ఫ్రమ్ ద బిగినింగ్ టిల్ ద ఎండ్ వితౌట్ స్కిప్పింగ్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద మిడిల్. మధ్యలో స్కిప్ చేయకుండా అశాంతం చదివేటట్టుగా చేస్తారు. సో బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ 2 reasons. Okay, and a few more last points are there about this drama. Let us learn all of them now. 12th Night is celebrated, that means famous for its lively characters, very delightful characters, very entertaining characters, very amusing characters, intricate plot. Intricate means complicated or complicate or complex, క్లిష్టమైనటువంటి plot, Kathavastu, and exploration of human emotions. In this drama, you can come across various human emotions. Okay, all such things you can find in this beautiful drama. And the last point here is, it remains one of Shakespeare's most frequently performed plays. You know very well, this drama 12th Night is one of Shakespeare's most frequently performed plays all over the world. ఇది ప్రపంచంలో అనేక ప్రాంతాలలో విపరీతంగా స్టేజ్ పైన ప్రదర్శించబడిన నాటకాలలో ఒకటి, అండ్ అప్రిషియేటెడ్ ఫర్ ఇట్స్ హ్యూమర్. ఇట్స్ హ్యూమర్ ఈజ్ రియల్లీ వెరీ అప్రిషియబుల్, వెరీ ఎంటర్టైనింగ్, వెరీ బ్యూటిఫుల్, అండ్ కాంప్లెక్సిటీ ఆఫ్ ద క్యారెక్టర్స్, ద ప్లాట్, అండ్ ద ఎండ్యూరింగ్ చార్మ్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్స్ క్యారెక్టర్స్. ద క్యారెక్టర్స్ that are there in this drama are also very wonderful, very entertaining, and all that, very appealing to all the readers and all the audiences. So in this way, this 12th Night is one of Shakespeare's most wonderful humorous dramas. Okay, and now let us look at the characters that are there in this drama. Characters of the drama. Okay, what are the characters of the drama? Viola is the first character. She is the heroine of the drama, and a shipwrecked young woman. Shipwrecked young woman who was trapped in the shipwreck. షిప్ యొక్క డిస్ట్రక్షన్ లో విక్టిమ్ గా ఉన్నటువంటి యంగ్ ఉమెన్. దట్స్ ద మీనింగ్. ఏ షిప్ రెక్డ్ యంగ్ ఉమెన్ మీన్స్ the young woman who was trapped in the shipwreck, that is there, who disguises herself as a page. Page means as an attendant, attender, an attendant, సహాయకుడి వలె, something like that, as a page named Cesario. So by this name she moves about in that drama, right? Though she was a young woman. So that's the first character. And you go to the second one, Sebastian, Viola's twin brother. Viola's twin brother, very easy. And Duke Orsino. Duke means, I have already told you, what is that? Earl or Prince Orsino, Duke of Illyria. So he was the Prince of Illyria. Okay. And here Olivia, a wealthy countess. She was a princess. Countess means princess. She was a wealthy countess. Okay. And next, Malvolio, steward in Olivia's household. He was the steward. Okay, he was the in charge of that Olivia's household. Okay, I indicated in charge. And next, Maria, Olivia's gentlewoman, and this Olivia's friend or caretaker. Okay, steward means caretaker. Olivia's gentlewoman means her friend, her attendant. ఆమె యొక్క చెలికత్తె, you can say in Telugu. Okay, Maria. And then Sir Toby Belch, Olivia's uncle. Olivia uncle. Okay, next. Sir Andrew Agcheek, a friend of Sir Toby. ఈ సర్ టోబీ యొక్క ఫ్రెండ్ వీడి సన్ ఆండ్రూ అగ్చీక్. ఓకే, అండ్ let us go to see the other characters. First, Olivia's servant or jester. So this first is there is Olivia's servant. One point, he was also a jester. Jester means a comedian or a joker or a clown or buffoon, something like that. And here Fabian is there, a servant in Olivia's household. So he is a servant in the house of Olivia, right? And then Antonio, a sea captain and friend to Sebastian. He's a sea captain and also a friend to Sebastian, right? And here Valentine and Curio, these are the two gentlemen attending on the Duke, on that Duke Orsino, right? And here a sea captain, a friend to Viola. So when the ship was wrecked, what happened? The sea captain helped her go to the shore, and on his advice, she gets herself disguised as a young man called Cesario. And also, these are all the very important characters of this drama. Now, let's move on to learn about the story. Now, look at the summary of 12th Night in a nutshell. In a nutshell means very briefly. Okay, now see the story of this 12th Night. Viola is shipwrecked on the coast of Illyria. You know very well. Viola, this is the heroine of this story, that is 12th Night, and she is shipwrecked. Shipwrecked means she has been trapped in the destruction of a ship, that is called shipwreck. So she has been trapped in that shipwreck on the coast of Illyria. You know very well, this Illyria is a fictional land or an imaginary land, and comes ashore with a captain's help. She comes to the shore with a captain's help. Very clear. The story is written in a simple and easy language, understandable language. You can also read it and understand it very easily. And she has lost contact with her twin brother Sebastian, who she believes has drowned. So here, after this Viola has been trapped in the shipwreck, she has lost contact with her twin brother. You know very well, she has got a twin brother, that is Sebastian, and who she believes has drowned. And she thinks that this Sebastian has drowned in the sea. And with the aid of the captain, what happens? She disguises herself as a young man named Cesario and enters the service of Duke Orsino. So now what happened now? This Viola, being all alone, with the help of this, with the aid of means with the help of this captain, she disguises herself as a young man named Cesario and enters the service of Duke Orsino. Duke Orsino means the Prince Orsino of this Illyria. Okay, and the story is continuing very in a simple and easy way. Okay, you can also read it and understand. Now you move on to the next paragraph. Orsino has convinced himself he is in love with Olivia, and this Duke Orsino is there. The Prince Orsino thinks that he is in love with Olivia, who is mourning her brother's recent death. But this Olivia is there, she is mourning, she is lamenting her brother's recent death, and therefore what did she do? She refuses to see entertainments. Okay, that's the first thing. She has refused totally to watch the entertainment programs, first thing, and be in the company of men. She doesn't like to spend her time in the company of men. That's the second thing. And she doesn't accept love or marriage proposals from anyone. So she also doesn't like to accept any marriage proposal from anybody, including Orsino. You know very well, Orsino, this Duke Orsino also makes a marriage proposal to this Olivia, but she doesn't accept his love or his marriage proposal until 7 years have passed by, because her brother has passed away and she is lamenting her brother's death, and therefore she has put a big full stop to all these programs. And that too, for about 7 years she has stopped all these things. She refused to watch the entertainment programs. She refused to be in the company of men. She refused to accept love or marriage proposal from anybody, including this Duke Orsino. And in this way, she refused everything for about 7 years. Okay, that is the meaning of the second paragraph. Now you move on to the next part of the story. And Orsino then uses Cesario as an intermediary to profess his passionate love for Olivia. So here, this Viola, disguised as a young man called Cesario, is in the service of this Duke Orsino. You know that very well. So this Orsino uses this Cesario as an intermediary. Intermediary means as a middleman or as a mediator to profess his passionate love for Olivia. Passion profess means what? To assert, okay, or to affirm or to assert his passionate love, his deep love for Olivia. He has made use of Cesario as an intermediary or a mediator to express his love, his deep love for Olivia. That is the meaning. But Olivia falls in love with Cesario. But unfortunately, what happened now? This Olivia falls in love with Cesario because the Cesario is not a young man, but she is a young woman. She is in the guise of this Cesario. But this Olivia falls in love with Cesario. It's a strange thing, setting her at odds with her professed duty. So setting her at a disagreement with her professed duty. And she doesn't like to marry Olivia because she is not a man, but she is a woman. And that's why she has put aside her marriage proposal and all that. And meanwhile, Viola has fallen in love with Orsino. But what happened? This Viola falls in love with Orsino, but this Orsino falls in love with Olivia, and this Olivia falls in love with Viola, who is in the guise of this Cesario. You know that well. It's called a triangle love. Look at this. This Viola, who is disguised as Cesario, falls in love with Duke Orsino. Okay, you know that well. And this Orsino falls in love with Olivia, but this Olivia falls in love with Viola, who is in the guise of this Cesario. So in this way, the love is called a triangle love. Triangle love. Triangle love. Right. And meanwhile, Viola has fallen in love with Orsino, creating a love triangle. This is called a love triangle. Viola loves Orsino. Orsino loves Olivia, and Olivia loves Viola, disguised as Cesario. So in this way, it is a triangle love story. Now move on to the next paragraph. In the comic subplot, so while the story is continuing, there is another story, okay, side by side going on in order to entertain the audiences. So that is therefore called a comic subplot. Okay, main plot is this. This is the subplot. You know very well. Several characters conspire to make Olivia's pompous steward Malvolio believe that she has fallen for him. So here several characters are there. Small characters, many characters are there. They have decided to make Olivia's pompous steward. Pompous means very arrogant steward. Olivia's pompous caretaker. Steward means caretaker. That is Malvolio. Believe that she has fallen for him. And these characters have told Malvolio that this Olivia has fallen in love with him. This involves Olivia's riotous uncle, Sir Toby Belch, another would-be suitor, the silly squire Sir Andrew Angchick. Okay, Olivia's servants Maria and Fabian. So in this episode, what is that? In this several characters means who are those several characters? Okay, riotous uncle, no, rough and tough uncle is there. That is Sir Toby Belch is there. Okay, another would-be suitor is there. The silly square, the square means again Prince Sir Andrew Agushik is there, and Olivia's servants Maria and Fabian. Okay, these are all the characters have devised a plan, and they wanted to fool Malvolio by saying that this Olivia has fallen for him. Right, and Olivia's witty fool fest. Okay, all these have participated in this subplot, in this drama. Okay, and what happened about this subplot? Let us see in the next paragraph. Next, Sir Toby, Sir Andrew engage themselves in drinking and revelry, disrupting the peace of Olivia's household until late into the night, prompting Malvolio to chastise them. Sir Toby harshly retorts. So this is the actual thing happened. Why did they make Malvolio think that Olivia has fallen for him means this is the reason. What is the reason for that? One day what happened? This Sir Toby, Sir Andrew engage themselves in drinking and revelry. That means they engaged themselves in drinking, okay, and also in revelry. Revelry means merrymaking, disrupting the peace of Olivia's household. They started making a lot of noise in that household. Okay, they were kicking up a row in that household until late into the midnight. Then what happened? This Malvolio chastised them, scolded them, or took them to task. And then Sir Toby harshly returned all those abuses back to Malvolio. That means he answered him back harshly and all that. Now look at this passage. Okay, Maria suggests taking revenge on Malvolio because this Malvolio chastised this Sir Toby and Sir Andrew for their excessive drinking in the house and making a lot of noise in that household late into the night. That was the reason for which he chastised them. Okay, he scolded them or he took them to task. And now this Maria, the servant of this Olivia, suggests taking revenge on Malvolio by convincing him that Olivia is secretly in love with him. And she made a suggestion to this Sir Toby and Andrew Agchik to take revenge on Malvolio by convincing him that Olivia is secretly in love with him. She forges a love letter. And then this Maria forges a love letter mimicking Olivia's handwriting, okay, copying Olivia's handwriting, and plants it in the garden. So she keeps that letter in the garden. The letter asks Malvolio to wear yellow stockings, cross-gartered, a color and fashion that Olivia hates. So according to the letter asks this Malvolio to wear yellow stockings, yellow dress, and the color and fashion of this yellow dress is hateful to Olivia. Okay, and she doesn't like yellow dress at all, and she hates it like anything. And one more thing also, this letter asked Malvolio, what is that? To be rude to the rest of the servants. That's the second thing. To wear yellow stockings, first thing, to be rude to the rest of the servants, and to smile constantly in Olivia's presence. And these are the three things. And this letter also asked this Malvolio to keep smiling all the while whenever he is in the presence of this Olivia. So to be rude with the rest of the servants, always smiling in the presence of this Olivia, and to wear yellow stockings, and all these things are mentioned in this letter. And according to this letter that is said to have been written by Olivia, okay, and he started behaving like that. Okay, and now let us see what this Malvolio did. Watched by Sir Toby, Sir Andrew, and Fabian, Malvolio finds the letter, and that was watched by Sir Toby, Sir Andrew, and Fabian, and is surprised and delighted. And this Malvolio has been made a big fool, and he was greatly surprised and delighted because in that letter it was clearly written that Olivia has fallen for him and all that. He starts following the letter's instructions to show Olivia his feelings. In order to show his feelings to Olivia, what did he do? He started following the letter's instructions. What are the instructions that are mentioned in the letter? Means he should wear yellow stockings, he should be rude with all other servants, he should always keep smiling in the presence of Olivia. So these are the three instructions that are mentioned in that letter. And now this Malvolio started following all those instructions very scrupulously in order to make her feel happy and all that. Olivia is shocked by the changes in him, but this Olivia does not know all these things, and therefore she has become very much shocked by all these changes in him, and agreeing that he seems mad, leaves him to be cared by his tormentors. And she thinks that he has gone mad. And therefore she asks all his tormentors. Tormentors means all these persons who played this prank on him. Okay, they played a prank on him, therefore they are called tormentors. So she asked these tormentors to take care of him, thinking that this Malvolio has gone mad and all that, pretending that Malvolio is insane. So pretending that Malvolio is insane, the tormentors lock him in a dark chamber. And here this thinking that Malvolio is insane and calling this Malvolio has gone mad. What did the tormentors do? They locked him in a dark chamber and first visits Malvolio to mock Malvolio's professed insanity. And here, this first is there. It is a jester, okay? It's the what's that servant in the house of that Olivia, and this first mocks at Malvolio's insanity, both as himself and disguised as a priest. So, in this way, this first mocks at Malvolio for having gone mad, for thinking that Olivia has fallen in love with him, and saying all these things. He has mocked at him, he has jeered at him, and that is the thing that happened here. Now let us see what actually happened later on. Meanwhile, Viola's twin, Sebastian, has been rescued by Antonio, a sea captain who previously fought Orsino. So this is the main plot, and the main plot is now become connected here. Meanwhile, Viola's twin brother is there, that is Sebastian. Okay, then he has been rescued by Antonio. And who is this Antonio? This is a sea captain. What did this sea captain do? Who previously fought Orsino. That means this Antonio once upon a time fought with Orsino, this Duke Orsino, at who accompanies Sebastian to Illyria. Even then, Antonio accompanies Sebastian to Illyria. He comes to Illyria along with Sebastian, despite the danger. He knows pretty well. If this Antonio comes to Orsino, what happens? Definitely, he would be arrested and he would be put behind the bars and all that because of his admiration for Sebastian. So, why could he come to Illyria in spite of the danger, in spite of the enmity between Antonio and Orsino? Means because he likes this Sebastian very much. He has got a lot of admiration for this Sebastian, and therefore this Antonio accompanies to Illyria with this Sebastian. So this is the story. Now you go to the next part of the story. With their love for practical jokes, Sir Toby and Fabian convince Sir Andrew to challenge Cesario to duel. So now what happened? With their love for practical jokes, these Sir Toby and Fabian have a lot of love for practical jokes. They want to play practical jokes on the people. They want to play pranks on the people. They are very much interested in playing pranks on the people. So here, this Sir Toby and Fabian, who have a great love for practical jokes, convinced Sir Andrew, that is the friend of Sir Toby, to challenge Cesario to a duel. So he asked Sir Andrew to invite this Cesario for a duel. Duel means a fight between the two is called a duel. Dvanda Yuddhamu, something like that. Knowing that neither of them can fight. And this Sir Toby and Fabian know pretty well that they cannot fight, okay, in that duel. And even then, knowing all these things pretty well, this Sir Toby and Fabian ask Sir Andrew to invite Cesario for a duel and all that. Their initial duel is interrupted by Antonio. But when this Andrew wanted to fight with Cesario, this duel was interrupted by Antonio, who believes Cesario to be Sebastian. And this Antonio thinks that this Cesario is none other than Sebastian himself, because Sebastian and Cesario, who is actually Viola, are the twins, and therefore they resemble each other. Okay. They look alike, and both of them look alike. Sebastian looks like Cesario. Cesario looks like Sebastian. They look alike, and that's why what happened. This Antonio, thinking that Cesario is none other than Sebastian, interrupts that duel, that fight, and all that. Now you move on to the next paragraph. Orsino's officer then arrest Antonio. And here you see this Duke Orsino's officers finding that this Orsino, their prince, has some enmity with Antonio, immediately arrest Antonio, right? And emboldened by this, and what is it? Encouraged by this, Sir Andrew mistakes Sebastian for Cesario and slaps him. Now what happened? Emboldened by this means encouraged by this, because Orsino's officers arrested Antonio. Emboldened by this means encouraged by this Sir Andrew, that is the friend of Sir Toby, mistakes Sebastian for Cesario and slaps him. He thinks that Sebastian is none other than Cesario, and that's why he slaps him, prompting Sebastian to beat up Sir Andrew. But it is not Cesario, but it is Sebastian himself. Therefore, but this Sebastian did not keep quiet. He beats up Sir Andrew very severely, right? Olivia witnesses the skirmish and chastises Sir Toby, Sir Andrew, and Fabian. And afterwards, this Olivia watches the skirmish, the small dispute, the small quarrel that is going on between this Sir Andrew and Sebastian, and she chastises Sir Toby, Sir Andrew, and Fabian. She takes them to task. వాళ్ళందరిని దొబ్బులు పెట్టకంచి పంపించి వేస్తుంది. So that is the thing that happened here. And now you move on to the next part of the story, taking Sebastian for Cesario. And now this Olivia taking Sebastian for Cesario, mistaking Sebastian for Cesario, Olivia asks him to marry her. ఈ సెబాస్టియన్ సిజారియో అనుకుంది. సిజారియో మీద ఇంత ముందు ఆమె ప్రేమ ఎక్కువగా ఉంది. మరి సిజారియో గాడు ఆమె Viola, you know that very well. But thinking that Sebastian is none other than Cesario. And what happened? This Olivia asked him to marry her. Then they are secretly married in a church. And afterwards, this Sebastian also agrees to her proposal, and therefore they get married secretly in a church. Finally, when Cesario and Sebastian appear in the presence of both Olivia and Arsino, there is more wonder and confusion at their physical similarity. So now what happened? After some time, this Sebastian and Cesario appear in the presence of both Olivia and Orsino. They became greatly confused. They became greatly surprised at their physical similarity, because Cesario looks like Sebastian. Sebastian looks like Cesario. Both look alike. Both resemble each other, because they are just twins. That thing they do not know, and that's why they were greatly surprised and confused at their physical similarity. At this point, Viola reveals her identity. Now what happens? So Viola reveals her identity. That means she comes out of the disguise appearance of Cesario and reveals to them that she is not Cesario, but she is Viola. So she reveals in that way her identity and reunited with her brother Sebastian. And afterwards, she gets reunited with her brother Sebastian. So this thing happened here. Now let's move on to learn about the remaining part of the story. And Sebastian and Viola reunite. Sebastian and Viola, these are the two twins, okay? These are the twins, and they get reunited, okay? And the cases of mistaken identity are resolved. Here, the mistaken identities are resolved, okay? Because earlier Viola is in the guise of Cesario, okay? And now the mistaken identities are just resolved, and Orsino and Viola marry, and Antonio is released. And here, after some time, the Duke Orsino and Viola get married, and this Antonio, the sea captain, is released from jail. Fabian confesses the plot against Malvolio. This Fabian confesses the plot against Malvolio. He reveals to Olivia that it was only a live prank or a real prank played on Malvolio by all of them. Reveals that Sir Toby has married Maria. And Sir Toby marries Maria. Malvolio swears revenge on his tormentors, but this Malvolio is there, and he wants to take revenge on his tormentors, because making him a madman, calling him a madman, put him where? In the dark room, okay? And that's why he wants to take revenge on his tormentors and stalks off means he leaves that place. But Orsino sends Fabian to placate him, but Orsino sends Fabian to placate him, to cool down him or to pacify him. The play ends with multiple marriages. So here what happened now? Orsino marries Viola. Sebastian marries Olivia. and Sir Toby marries Maria. So, in this way, multiple marriages you can find in this drama. So you can find some celebrated tone at the end of the story, embodying the comedic resolution of love and harmony. So in this way, the story of the 12th night will come to an end in the harmonious or hilarious or comedic atmosphere or humorous atmosphere. So this is all about the story 12th night, and the story is also written in a very simple, easy and understandable language, and you can also read it and understand very easily. Okay, with this the story of 12th night will come to an end. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hello dear DC candidates, thank you so much for watching this video, and three things are explained in this video: the introduction to the writer William Shakespeare, the introduction to the drama 12th night, and also the summary of 12th night in a nutshell. So these three things are explained in this short video. If you have any problem in understanding any of the points, please make a mention of it in the comment section. I'm ready to answer it. Okay, yes, I am for you. Please remember this point: I am for you, I am working for you. I will make all the videos for you only, and two more videos are going to be uploaded very shortly. Okay, and the next video I'm going to upload is on important quotes and important literary devices that you can find in the drama 12th night. Okay, and with that video I shall be back to you. Until then, bye, see you all of you. Right.